Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Red Green. Holy cow, we are here on our fourth Wednesday. I see people in chat already. How's everybody doing tonight? I see Bundy Chick 82. How are you? Thorfinn 911, Mr. J Ramal, Dut 330, Namedar, Stan Angelella, Creative Mode PS4. Holy cow, Oxy Minoxy 1. How are you? I see all of you in chat. Thank you for being here with us once again. It is good to be with you guys. We have a lot of stuff. Oh, Fanatic of Racing. Good to see you again. Nice to see you. Big Bad Dude 83. What's up, man? Good evening. Good evening. Oh, thank you for putting the KUAD in there, Jalen. That's good stuff. We got lots of stuff to go over tonight. I got some announcements to make, including tonight. I know we've had some good announcements in the past. Hey, Dot 330 cheered 100 bits. Thank you very much for the cheer. Appreciate that. I know we've had announcements on the channel the last few weeks, but I'm going to say tonight we have our first ever channel major announcement. This is the biggest announcement we've had, I'd say, so far. So I'm very excited to share that information with you. We got mail call. I've been getting submissions from people on Facebook, over email. People have been sending me pictures, lots of stuff, having some fun with it. I hope you enjoy it as much as I have, and that it spurs you on to maybe send me something as well that we can share together on a stream. And of course, we've got episode 4 to go tonight, season 1, episode 4. Looking forward to that. And then at the end of the stream tonight, we're going to be doing another giveaway. So please stick around. And for the end of the stream, we're going to be doing another giveaway tonight. We've done giveaways the last few weeks. I don't know what's going on. We're feeling generous over here, I guess. But before we get to all that, I think we've got to call our meeting to order. If you know the actions, please follow along at home.
All right.
Quando, Omni, Flunkus,
Moritati.
Now I'd like you to bow your heads for the man's prayer. If you don't know the words, you can follow along on my sign.
I'm a man, but I can change if I have to, I guess.
All right, we have finally come to order here. We are ready to go. Cohoso says, I see you're finally wearing an appropriate shirt, right? I got my plaid on tonight. I actually have a few pairs of red-green suspenders, which we're not going to give away tonight. That'll be for another week. I tried to wear them. I was like, I'm going to wear the suspenders on stream, but the one green strap messes with the green screen, and so you like see through part of my body. It looks really funky, so I'm not going to do wearing those because it looks too weird. But we will do a giveaway of a suspenders one of these days. How's everybody doing? Oh, people are putting in where they're from, where they're watching from. That's good stuff. How are you guys doing tonight? Everybody okay? We got a little dusting of snow here in southern Ontario today. It kind of came and went, but it was a little bit unexpected. Green screen! Magic is broken! I know, Jalen. Now, I did take this picture, though, in my dad's basement where the red-green set is set up. So it's kind of legit, but kind of not. Because I don't live in the same city as my dad, so I don't stream from the basement of his house, because that would creep him out. But so it is it is the actual set, but it's not actually behind me right now. Same here in New Hampshire. You guys got some snow as well. A total of 3 flakes, Big Bad Dude, in Minnesota. Okay, that's not bad. 76 in Oklahoma. Oh, that hurts me to hear that. Good for you, Crookery. Midnight Stallion, how are you doing? Good to see you. A dusting in Missouri. Okay. As well as in Ohio. Nice. Nice. Well, that's good. That's good. Well, it's nice to be inside, and if you're in a cold spot, it's nice to be inside and warm and enjoying some red-green together. I did want to announce a couple of things before we got rolling. The first one is, some of you are already hitting it. I see in chat, you're hitting the commands thing. I've added a couple commands. Last week when we did the live stream, some of you said, hey, could you add this? Could you add that? So I added a couple of commands to Nightbot. If you're new here tonight, and maybe haven't been on Twitch that much, what that is there are things you can type into chat to get our digital cyborg moderator called Nightbot to spit out replies. You can basically boss a robot around, which is fun. So as the Ferb guy just did, you can hit !commands, hit enter. Nightbot spits out. Those are all the different commands: prayer, oath, handy, kaisadi, van, gizmo, lurk, sun, tape, pullen, experts, word game, TV. And then anytime you type one of those commands in, like Bundy Chick did with van, Nightbot will spit out a response. And so that's a way for us to be a little more interactive in chat without having to type out a whole big thing. Some of you guys are incredible at, when the episode is running, hitting, like when Red's about to say his, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Spam that ! handy, get Nightbot to spit out the line at the same time. And it's just a kind of a way for you guys to participate more in the episode. Also, some people will come into chat tonight, especially the people who are new to the channel, and might ask questions. What's Harold's gizmo that he wears? What make was the possum van? How many possum vans did you have? And so people in chat, if you know what those commands do, you can answer that person by just typing in that command. And it's kind of a way for chat to be interacting with each other, which I think is a lot of fun. Okay, so that's the commands. Again, there's some new ones, and we'll get to one of them in a little bit later. Another thing is the PBS list. Last week, it's actually the TV station list. I want to be fair to our Canadians, our Aussies, and so on. If you are able to, if you're on a desktop or a computer where you can scroll down, I don't know if you're like on a phone or something. I don't know if you can do this, but if you're on a desktop or watch on a computer, you can scroll down, look at the buttons that are underneath me. One of them is a new one. It says stations. And what I did was I've looked over all the places that people in chat have said, this is where we've watched the show on. So people have said CBC or Comedy Channel if they're from Canada, maybe even CHCH in Hamilton, the original from Hamilton, the original station that it was on. I've put that on there. And then a bunch of people from the States have said, hey, this is the PBS station I watch on. So please, tonight, and anytime we're streaming, if you get here, and just go ahead and write down the call letters or whatever of the station that you've watched on. And if we see one that we haven't seen before, we're going to add it to the list. And hopefully over time we get kind of a good sense of where our fans are from and where they're watching. T-Bone, hi. Nice to see you. You can call me Dave. You don't have to call me Mr. Smith. You can call my dad Mr. Smith, but I'm just Dave. Lazy Possum, what's up? Nice to see you. Samantha, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Okay, also, you've noticed some of the people in chat have these purple and white stars beside their names. Those are subscribers. First of all, we have a bunch of subscribers already. Really appreciate that. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. That's very generous and very kind of you. We totally appreciate that. Subscriptions, what you get for those. Right now we have an emote. We're affiliated by Twitch, which means we get one emote. So if any of our subs in chat can spam the red green tape emote, love our chat to see that. Hey, Christopher Gamblin, nice to see you. How's it going? So we have an emote for you. If we get partnered on Twitch, which is the next level up, I guess, then we will get more emotes for subscribers to use in channel. And the way to do that, the only hurdle left for us, we need an average viewership of 75 over the last 30 days or something. So please come and join and watch our streams. If you can't watch it or you hate them, just put your computer on them and mute it and walk away. You can help us. You don't have to watch if you don't want to. But we'd appreciate the views. That will help us get partnered and so people can spam more and different and fun red-green emotes. Also, subs, in giveaways, like tonight's giveaway, you get an extra bonus. You get a higher percentage of winning a giveaway than a regular viewer. Everyone has a chance to win, but subscribers get a bump chance. And every once in a while as well, subscribers, you get an extra little bonus like the thing that I'm going to announce right now. Okay, so many of you have said, hey, are we going to see other people other than you on stream? Even though you've only done it 3 or 4 times, we're already tired of you, Dave. Like, when are the real people from Red Green going to be here? Because who the heck are you? So we're not there yet. The channel's still pretty small. We're just kind of getting going, figuring things out. But I spoke with Pat McKenna the other day, over Facebook. Pat McKenna, as you know, played the Harold character on the show. And Pat has agreed to do a phone interview with me on Friday of this week. I believe we're going to have it. I'm going to record the interview, and then next Wednesday on stream, I'm going to play that interview for all of us to enjoy. And what I'd like to do tonight is any subscribers in chat who have a question for Pat, go ahead and type it into chat and say, hey, this question is for Pat. I will read them. And when I interview Pat on Friday, I will mention your username saying, hey, this person asked this. We'll get the answer. And then next week on stream, you'll be able to hear Pat answer your question. So that's another perk we can offer to subscribers as well. As just as another way of saying thank you. Now, everyone's going to get to watch the interview. Everyone's going to be able to enjoy Pat's responses and my amazing questions, of course. But subs, you get a chance to contribute to the questions. So please, over the course of tonight, tomorrow's stream, go ahead and give me some suggestions for questions for Pat so I can ask them of him on Friday. Okay. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Pat is a great guy. He's doing it for free, by the way. He's not like charging me any money to do an interview with him, he's just a stand-up dude. He's a generous guy. He heard about the stream. He's like, that's awesome that you're doing that. Sure, I'll help you out. Like, what a good dude he is. Okay. That's all for our announcements this week. Now, I do want to mention one other thing.
Women don't find you handsome. They should at least find you handy.
Eagle Scout 905, thank you for the follow. Some of you are already doing it. If you have a question for me, you see how some people are typing Rassilon, Midnight Stallion, just put comments where they put at Red Green Junior TV before their comment or question. If you have something specifically you want me to see and answer, especially when we're watching the episode in a couple minutes, please go ahead and put that at Red Green Junior TV first. Sometimes chat goes by a bit quick and I'm kind of busy doing stuff with the stream. I don't always see questions and comments, but if you have something that for sure you want me to answer, please go ahead and put that before the question at Red Green Junior TV in the chat, and it'll bold it for me, so there's a better chance that I'll see it. It's not a guarantee, but it's a better chance. Okay, we've got some fan stuff to look through. It's time for mail call. All right, first of all, we have submitted from, you may remember Jordan from a few weeks ago, who sent us the Red Green theme, acoustic theme that he did, and some pictures as well. I mentioned to him we were on an episode of Jeopardy in 1999, and Jordan tracked down these images from the internet. We used to have video of it.
I'm a man, and I can change if I have to, I guess.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's a lot of sounds. Okay, they don't want me to be on. Okay. But yeah, if you came to a taping in CBC in the early 2000s, you may have seen video of this. We used to show this to our live audiences. But we were a question on Jeopardy. The question is, the category, was green stuff. And the question, although I guess it was an answer because it's on Jeopardy. The answer was, it was a $1,000 one, by the way. Resembling Home Improvement, this Canadian show set at the Possum Lodge can be seen on PBS. How cool is that? We were a question on Jeopardy. And despite kind of an awkward silence at the start, the male contestant on the show got the answer right. So we felt very validated, the fact that somebody actually knew the answer as well. I don't know about resembling Home Improvement. I feel like Home Improvement resembles Red Green, but whatever, Trebek. All right, next we have from Dennis on Facebook. Oh, Bundy Chick says, did your dad ever get hurt doing Handyman Corner? Not really. He got a black eye or a bruise here and there. The only real injury he ever got was during the Duct Tape Forever movie, where he put a knife through his hand, which wasn't cool. All right, the next fan thing is from Dennis. It is a meme he sent me on Facebook. This is actually one of our campfire songs. Oh, the mountain is high and the valley is low. It's the laws of nature that make it so. If the valley is high and the mountain is low, you're either upside down or drunk or both. So thank you for that, Dennis. Amazing. Bearskin Rug, good to see you. Thanks for joining us here in chat. Always a pleasure to see you, sir. Next, from James, we have this picture, also on Facebook, sent me. James purchased our red-green suspenders and a red-green hat from our website, where you can also purchase those items, www.redgreenshop.com. Shameless plug. And when he got them in the mail, he decided to go to the bathroom, put them on, grow a beard, and it looks like 6 or 7 minutes, and take a little selfie and send it in. So thank you for that, James. I think he was on his way out for a date. So, James, maybe you can send us a message later about how that went as well, how the suspenders went over. Thank you for that. Brink Little says, signed up on the website and received my welcome kit. The tape wallet is awesome. Thank you. Yes, the tape wallets are actually pretty high quality. For a duct tape wallet, pretty amazing. Crookery says, my wife loves the horse campfire song. Which one is the horse campfire song? Now, a different James on Facebook sent this. And this is for, if you're ever feeling down in the dumps, feeling defeated by life, don't worry. Positive Possum believes you can do the thing. I feel like maybe, possibly, this possum with his arms raised should be an emote on the channel, for encouragement. Fanatic of Racing, that's you? James, well done. I used it for a Halloween costume at school and 2 teachers recognized it. Well, that's freaking awesome. Thank you for your submission. Appreciate that. Sorry about the beard comment. My bad. Next up is Jeff, who sent this to me on Facebook. He called it a redneck water heater. Now I know redneck, it's not Possum Lodges in Canada, and it's not the same thing. But I just thought this picture, there's something similar about it. The attitude of, we're just gonna make do with whatever we have available. I think with a little more duct tape around the bottle and attaching it and so on, this could pass as a Possum Lodge water heater as well. Thought that was pretty good. Marcus Spear says, I'm sad I lost my membership card. Oh, Marcus, email me. I'll get you a new one, man. I know a guy. redgreenjuniortv@gmail.com. Send me an email. I'll hook you up, buddy. Big Bad Dude says, I do not have a full duct tape wallet, but I have used duct tape in my wallet. Well, that's something to be proud of. Next, this is from Mike. Mike sent this picture over Facebook, and he wrote this to accompany it. He said, well, old Red Green would have been proud. The trailer I picked up and the pigtail on my tractor somehow weren't holding a tight fit, and I'd lose the running lights and turning signals. They're really not much there to use wire or bungee to latch to, so I grabbed the #1 handyman's tool in my toolbox and taped it up. Still working in a blizzard to boot. Just like I was in Canada, eh? Mike, well done. It's a little bit scary when you know that people driving big things are using duct tape to hold stuff together, but hey, it worked. And as my dad used to say on the show, this is only temporary unless it works. All right, that is it for our mail call today. I can't grow one to save my life, so it's cool. All right, I apologize. I can't either, actually. My dad's red green. It's like he took all the beard genes in the family. Actually, my brother can grow a beard too. It's my mom and I can't. So what are you gonna do? I can't grow hair here or here for some reason. All right, we're going to move on to our episode number 4, season 1. But just before we do that, I just wanted to mention, last week we talked a little bit about the show openings for season 1. And again, if you're new here tonight, I'll kind of go over it, but I wanted to add one thing to my comments from last week. So the opening to these shows of season 1 are not actually the original season 1 openings. They were replaced later, either season 3 or season 4, I think. When the show was sold to PBS in the States, the decision was made to make all of the show openings uniform. So rather than having season 1 have a distinct opening, season 2 have a distinct one, and so on, they made them all the same. And so if you watch the opening to this season, you'll see that there are clips from season 2 in it and later. And that's why they decided, because PBS stations weren't going to necessarily run them back to back. They might buy this one, but not buy that one. They wanted the opening to always be the same so that viewers in PBS markets wouldn't say, hey, why is this a different opening than this one or whatever. So anyways, last week we talked about some of the tip-offs are there's a shot coming up in this opening to this episode where there's a full cast from season 2. And season 2 has a much bigger cast than season 1. So how could a season 2 cast shot be in a season 1 opening? Well, that's why. Another thing we talked about last week was there's a fire tower, an exterior shot of a fire tower in this opening. And we did not have the budget season 1 to go up north and to actually shoot shots at a fire tower in the Muskokas. So any Ranger Gorge stuff from season 1 was done in a tree house in Burlington. That was our budget. So, and when the family wasn't home, I'm assuming. I don't know. I was only 10 at the time, so I don't know what the rules were about that. But there is actually one other shot in this opening. I want you to keep your eyes open for it. Just try to pay attention to the opening. There's a shot of something else happening here that later on in the episode, you will realize that that's also a shot that means that this can't be a season 1 opening. So we'll see if you can pick up on it. Okay. I'll handle a couple questions before we start it. Crookery says USAF uses duct tape to hold the internals together. Best deployment ever, right? If it works, use it, right? Marcus Spears says, what about the later seasons? Because there were a few openings over the years, or was that just later? Yeah, I think the decision to go uniform happened about season 4, and then it only applied to those seasons. And then seasons after that were allowed to be different. Okay. We're going to get this episode rolling. Thank you for your patience while I talk and talk and talk. Here we go. Season 1, episode 4. Okay, it didn't take me long. I just wanted to pause it real quick. I don't know if I did this last week or not, so I thought I would this week. You guys remember on stream, I showed a large trophy made by a guy named Jim Jackson, one of our super fans, big supporter of the show, and super artistic creative guy. This Possum Lodge toilet roll duct tape, also made by the one and only Jim Jackson. Just want to point that out.
And now it's time for the Red Green Show starring Red Green. What more? Red Green Show, all about nature and wildlife and how they can be killed. Starring my uncle. Can't the camera move faster or something? Come on, hurry up. Starring the man of the hour. The host with the most. The Woodsman's Woodsman, or I'd like to say the Woods person, because I'm trying to make this show non-sexist. You know, the other guys around here, they don't care. They have it as offensive as can possibly.
All right, one other thing I wanted to point out just before the lobby scene started, I don't think I've said this yet, is that one thing that really I find remarkable about the show is the transition. Let me get rid of that picture. We don't need that yet. I'll show that in a bit. is the transition that the Red character and the Harold character make over the years. Early on, actually before the Red Green show started, Red Green was a character that my dad did on other TV shows that he had. He did the character on a show called Comedy Mill. He did the character on a show called Me and Max that my brother and I were on as well. It was a family sitcom with my mom. And he did it on a show called Smith and Smith. That was the first TV show he did just with my mom. They were Smith and Smith. And the character was very low energy, deadpan, not animated at all. He based the character on Red Fisher, who, if you know who Red Fisher was, my dad always used to say about him, he was a man who thought that nothing would bore you. And so he kind of based Red Green off of Red Fisher and had that kind of really low energy, deadpan, kind of sarcastic kind of delivery. And in this first season, especially, I find Harold is very animated and moving around a lot, and Red is just very low energy. Okay, and that's the contrast. Whereas I find in later seasons, the energy sort of shifts, where Red starts coming into these lobby scenes animated about something that's happening at the lodge. He's excited, he's got lots of energy. And Harold kind of transitions from this goofy teenager with all this nervous energy into almost like a motherly kind of figure on the show. So for those of you who've watched, maybe only seen later seasons, keep an eye out for that, about sort of Red's and Harold's energy level in this compared to maybe the seasons that you're a little bit more aware of.
Possibly be. It's a full-time job for me trying to
Harold.
Sure.
Thank you, and welcome to the show. I got a heck of a show for you this week. We had a treasure hunt up at the lodge here, and went looking for gold. But all we found was fool's gold. Speaking of which, Harold, come on over here a sec. Harold is my nephew and the producer-director of the show, and he has this fancy little Wizmo right here.
Yeah, it allows me to do things like this. And thank you very much for noticing.
Well, Harold, you're not going to need that little Wizmo for a while this week, because I got a heck of a story for the fans here. We were all up in the attic at the lodge looking for old man Sedgwick, and we found an old trunk, and it had a padlock on it, and we got the crowbar, but it just wouldn't come loose. So we got 3 or 4 10-pound sledges, and we just creamed the darn thing, and when we got inside it, there was something, I guess it had been made of glass. It was now just in pieces and shards and so on. Got broke somehow, I guess, probably valuable at some point. But the interesting thing here is we found a map, and the map had an X on it. You know what an X is for?
Yes. Cue up the next segment.
Harold, X is for buried treasure.
Well, it's buried now.
All right, I'll just stop it there for a sec. I see a question from Talking says, did anyone ever count how many small props are decorating the set? Yes and no. Early seasons, I don't think as much attention was paid to that kind of stuff, which is good because you could, if you ever needed a roll of duct tape, you could just walk by the set and grab one and no one would notice. Later on, our production manager, especially Sandy Richardson, at least this is my recollection, Sandy would take pictures of the set so that every season and every episode when the set was dressed, that it would look exactly the same. And if stuff was moved, that she would have pictures to make sure it got moved back to the right thing. So the clutter that made the lodge so endearing and look so realistic ended up being a bit of a difficult thing for the show because we had to... we knew some people would be paying attention, and so it was sometimes onerous to get things to look exactly the way that our fans were used to. Big Bad Dude says, like your dad doing that gruffness to his voice, Pat had to work on his voice as well, didn't he? I don't know as much about Pat. I mean, it's not Pat's real voice. If you ever have a conversation with Pat McKenna, he doesn't actually sound like Harold. But I know that was an impression that he had been doing, or at least working on, before the show started. But I never heard Pat complain about having to put on the Harold voice or any of that stuff, so I don't think it bothered him, which is nice. Okay, coming up, this next scene is a campfire song. For those of you who've been around the show a long time, you know that these campfire songs happen pretty much every episode, and they are just wacky. If you've been on the stream a few times, you've probably heard me say especially season 1, we taped all of these in one night for the whole season. So we didn't have much budget, so we couldn't pay for multiple, shoot days and that kind of stuff. So all of them were done on one night. And a lot of people say, well, were these songs ad-libbed? How much of it was written? Are they just messing around and you just taped it? Like what? And so I have in my hand, actually, I found one of these a couple days ago. This is an old, we used to sell these in our store. It's a Possum Lodge Poem and Campfire Song, Volume 1. And this is the song that they're about to sing is In My Bedroll, which is one of my favorites. It says, "Who's that hiding in my bedroll? Is it you, Mary Brown? Tucked way down where I can't see you, waiting to go to town. Who's that hiding in my bedroll? Is it someone on a flirt? I reach in and grab you down there. Oh, for gosh sakes, it's just my old shirt." Now, I may have just ruined the song for you. I apologize. But I just wanted to point that out before you watched it to show how closely to the script, the written songs, these guys came to. They made it look fun. They made it look like they were improvising. They made it look like they're just joking around at campfire. But really, they were learning lines and delivering them correctly and quickly and moving on to the next one and moving on to the next one. Pretty talented folks. All right, let's enjoy the song together.
Who's that hiding in my bedroll? Is it you, Mary Brown? Way down where I can't see you, wanting to go to town. Who's that hiding in my bedroll? Is it someone on a flirt? I reach in and grab you down there. Oh, for gosh sakes, it's just my old shirt. This week, Handyman Corner, I'd like to show you that a toilet is an asset. There was a time when we'd have an old baby like this and we just would throw it in the middle of the lake. But now it's getting to the point we got so many fixtures and appliances and whatnot out there that it's just you're risking your prop every time you do a power turn around the canoe club. So it's a lot better if we come up with some other use for these things, and I've done just that. Now the first step on this, after the hernia, what you want to do is, to get it apart, is to loosen
My dad did all his own
there.
stunts, by the way.
You got to expect a certain amount of breakage on these, but it doesn't really matter because all we're going to use is the tank on the back. So as you can see, I've got the back of the tank separated here, and I've attached these car seat belts. I was only sitting on them anyway, and I've used a handyman's secret weapon, duct tape. So now what we have is your portable ceramic beverage cooler. What you do is you put some ice in there, throw in some of your favorite beverages, pop the lid on here. And on a day when you know you're going with this thing, you might want to have a couple of steroids for breakfast. Roll the unit up onto your shoulder, and you're on your way. Now, a lot of guys say you should use beer for this because it ends up in the toilet anyway. You might as well start there. And when the ice melts with this baby, and you want to get rid of the excess water, no problem. So until next time, remember, if women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. We'll be right back with the rest of the treasure hunt story.
Be still, my trembling heart.
That can be arranged.
I'll unmute. I'm just going to pause it there real quick. I wanted to point out something. Right here with Harold's Gizmo. We've had a lot of talk in channel. Oh, let me just look for questions real quick. Eagle Scout says, did you ever sell the patches Pat and your dad wore on their shirts? And is there anywhere I could find one? The crest that we had in later seasons, we still do sell at our store. www.redgreenshop.com, available. The patches that are on their shirt in these early episodes, the ones that you're looking at on screen right now, we don't. My mom, in real life, actually sewed these for the show. So she only made a couple of them because it was just her sewing them. So I don't even know if my dad still has one, to be honest. That might be something, if he does, I might grab from him and bring it onto stream one time. I think that'd be kind of cool to show. I don't know if he does or not. But these were never mass produced. We never made a lot of these things until they were the crest that you see in the later episodes. Red Green Gizmo Guy says, I'm here, Dave. Peter, is that you? Because we're about to talk about what you sent me, if that is you. Cahoso says, was Red Fisher widely made fun of in Canada? I ask because I know he also inspired John Candy to create Kill Fisher, the fishin' musician on SCTV. Wasn't John Candy a freaking national treasure? Love that dude. He was so great. We rewatched some John Candy movies with our kids recently, and it made me realize I should have screened them before I showed them to my children. But fantastic. What a great dude. I think Red Fisher was a popular character. Anyone who is popular has fans and is also made fun of. So I think a bit of both. Okay, so we were talking about Harold's Gizmo. Okay, so on chat, anytime I've ever been asked this, I used to host the live audiences at CBC when we taped the show in the early 2000s. People would say all the time, what's Harold's thing made out of? I was always told the answer is an Ampex VR 1200 editing machine, which I have a picture of. And if you look at the picture, you'll see the board, which is kind of dark color across the middle of the machine. That's the board, that's the long part of what Harold is holding. And I was told that the keyboard was a Commodore 64 keyboard. So that's what I've been telling people for years. And then we started doing this stream, and people came on and said, what's it made of? And I said, the same thing I always say. So this editing machine with a Commodore 64 keyboard. And people here were saying, it's not a Commodore 64 keyboard, Dave. We looked. We're trying to restore one. We're trying to make our own. It's the cartridge thing is on the wrong side and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, I don't know what to say to you. I never actually researched it. I just know what I've been told. Well, tonight we have in chat Red Green Gizmo Guy, aka Peter. Peter worked at CHCH in Hamilton in 1990 when we started this show, and he made the gizmo for Harold. Okay? So he took the board from the editing machine. He took a keyboard. He took my dad's old guitar strap. He took some back plug fixture from an old camera, and he stuck them together and made the thing. And we have them right here. So everybody say hi to Peter. Thank you for being here. And Peter was gracious enough to tell me this. He said, the actual keyboard came from an old election system that CHCH had. CHCH is the TV station in Hamilton, as I said. We used to compile our own data and had 20 input keyboards to input election tallies. When that system became obsolete, I kept 2 of the old keyboards. I used one on Harold's Gizmo, and I still own the other. It's buried in my workshop someplace. So, Commodore 64 keyboard is not what that is. It is Peter thought maybe they got it from Electro something, he said. Maybe Peter can correct me. But Electrosonics, I think he said, in either the late 70s or the early 80s. And they were specific, just keyboards that they used in this electoral tally system at CHCH. That's what the keyboard is. So for the 2 or 3 people in chat who care, you're right. It's not a Commodore 64. It's this instead. Okay, let's keep going with the channel. I'm glad we got that straightened out. Thank you, Peter, for your help.
You know, Harold, one of the things I enjoy most about the lodge is cooking over a log fire, you know, just right out in the outdoors there. And doesn't that make the food taste special, huh?
Special is a strong word.
Well, it
Makes it taste burned.
Well, okay, there's a little bit of, there might be some carbonization on there, but that's healthy for you.
No, it's not. It gets in
yeah.
your system and it makes your stomach wall black. That's why you should cook in a stove.
No, it's carbon. That's what plants eat, carbon.
Burned hot dogs? Think again. There's no way that a plant's going to take the time to put a hot dog on a stick. They'd have to tear its own stem off. To do that, it just wouldn't happen. That's why they have stoves.
All right,
for plants to eat properly.
No, they don't have stoves for plants.
Yes, they do. It's a hothouse.
That's not a stove for a plant.
Have you ever been in one?
Well, at the Stag I was. What did you say again?
It's a hothouse.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, my mistake.
That's a rare Red Green episode drug reference. Let's hear it again. It's weird when you hear your dad making a joke like that.
That's not a stove for a plant.
Have you ever been in one?
Well, at the Stag I was. What did you say again?
It's a hothouse.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, my mistake. It is winter. Children rush past, pulling sleds and toboggans. Shoppers hurry by, heads bowed against the wind. And to each you call out a familiar refrain. Call 911, I've slipped and broken my back. Anyway, just to get back to this buried treasure thing, this was kind of exciting. We're all up there in the attic, and we got the treasure map out, and we poured over it, and we poured around it. We even poured some right on it, and trying to figure out exactly where the X was. And we figured out that it was probably halfway between the lodge and the old mill down the road. But now the old mill, of course, didn't show up on the map because it's less than 400 years old. But the lodge was there. So anyway, off we go. We took compasses and maps and ropes and pickaxes and a backhoe. And we got there about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We figured we were right in the perfect spot where a pirate would bury treasure. Right on the top of a hill, under some trees, easy to spot, and only about 500 miles from the sea.
Excuse me, Uncle Red. What's your...
I just saw a question there from Crookery. I get it sometimes. Where can I get a pair of skunk skin gloves the way Red is holding in that Winter of Our Discount Tent winter scenes? Those were bought at, I believe they were bought at an Army surplus store in Hamilton. My brother Max claims he still has them. The next time I'm in Hamilton, I will grab them from him and bring them back here so I can show them on stream and prove that he still does. He also says he still has that bomber, kind of mad bomber thing hat. Ushanka or something, whatever it's called. Or Tatanka. That's WWF, actually, never mind. But he also still has the hat. So I'll try to bring that on stream, too. I think that would be fun.
But there's been something I've been wanting to do ever since you started talking.
Well, where are we now, Harold?
I'll draw you a map.
You know, Hap, there is nothing more fun than fishing with your best friend.
Well, this comes close, Red.
Great day. Not too sunny, not too windy, really.
Well, the wind is going to come up later from the southwest. Ought to get to about 30, 35, taper off around sundown, scattered showers overnight. Sun would rise at 6:37 tomorrow.
How do you know all that stuff?
You got to know how to read the weather when you're a farmer.
Farmer, Hap? You were a farmer?
Oh, sure. Back in my 20s. Bought me a little spread out west, started a farm.
What'd you grow? Wheat?
No, rubber.
Just another quick word. Oh my gosh. Pro streamer, leave the picture up. Another quick word. When I was 10, almost 11 when this was shot, I didn't know who Gordon Pinsent was. I just thought he had an awesome mullet and he was on the boat with my dad. But looking back now, I think one of the cool things about the Red Green Show is how these really talented people who did other big and wonderful things would come and have fun on our show. Guys like Graham Greene, Peter Callahan, Gordon Pinsent. Like just so many guys who were talented and doing stuff, and they would come and just kind of almost like have a break. It's almost like recess, I think, coming and doing a Red Green episode. How lucky are we to have a treasure like Gordon Pinsent on the show? Friggin' amazing.
Anybody grow wheat. How many rubber farmers do you know, Red?
Just you.
Well, I bought me this little piece of land and 240 rubber trees from, where's that country with the things?
Malaysia?
Yeah. Anyway, I planted these rubber trees right in the prairies.
Well, I thought rubber trees would only grow in a tropical rainforest.
We had them in greenhouses, big greenhouses, attached to the back of a tire factory. Blob of rubber oozes in one end, and steel-belted, white-walled, radial bias, ply, snow tires pop out the other. I was all set to make my first tire and turn a little profit when all my creditors closed in all at once. The only rubber that factory ever produced was my own checks.
Yeah, creditors are like that sometimes.
Well, look, it gets to me where you can't believe a word they say.
I know the feeling. Remember, women don't mind you handsome. At least mind you happy. Oh, she's full of rust, and the brakes are shot. The tires are bald, and she shakes a lot. She burns a lot of oil, and she's hard on gas. But I got 37 more payments, so I'll be keeping her.
Oh, Uncle Red, this is so great. We got such an excellent letter today. It's from the Yukon. Yeah, I put the stamp in my time capsule.
Yukon, eh, Harold? Land of the midnight sun. Dog sleds, igloos. 6 months of daylight up there, you know. They got the gold rush up there and polar bear.
I just saw some questions in chat. I thought I would just pause for a quick second. Sorry for the interruptions. Tranquil says PBS is educational. The Red Green Show is recess. You got that right. Marcus says the one that floored me was Graham Greene. I know. I couldn't believe it. I saw him in Dances with Wolves, and then here he is on our show. It's like, okay. And he was the goofiest guy. Like he was such a goofball. He was so funny. Marcus says, did you get to meet Colin Mockery? What's he like? I did meet Colin Mockery. My parents have a production company called S&S Productions. That's the place where I still work. My brother and I kind of run most of it now, although my parents are still the bosses in semi-retirement, calling us every once in a while to say what to do. But S&S Productions did another show called Supertown Challenge that Colin Mockery was in. So I got to see him on set for that. And I was in studio when he came on the Red Green Show as well. Super funny guy, super pleasant. The one thing about Canadian I found, and not that I've met them all, but about Canadian celebrities, there's this kind of still this sense of perspective that they have about what a celebrity is. And I have yet to meet a Canadian celebrity who I was like, oh, they're totally full of themselves. Like every person who came on the show, they would talk to the crew, they would talk to the crowd, they would talk to the other actors, just good, solid people. And I always liked that. And Colin was one of those for sure. Jalen Jade says, how long did each episode take to write? So what we would do is we would shoot the outdoor stuff first. So all winter and spring and summer would be outdoor stuff. And then the fall would be the indoor segments. And so it wasn't like we would write an episode from start to finish. We would write all the outdoor scenes kind of first, and then move on to the lobby and indoor sort of stuff after that, depending on what season it was. So it's hard to really quantify into how many hours it took to write an episode. It would go through multiple stages. So you would write something, you would submit it to my dad was the head writer. He would rewrite it, send it back to all the other writers if there was more than one contributing writer that year or show writer that year for another rewrite, and then back to him for a final rewrite. And then that's what would actually be taped. And then when we did live audiences at CBC, we did 2 shows a night. We did a 7 p.m. and a 9 p.m. And we would do rewrites in between the 7 p.m. and the 9 p.m. show based on the audience reaction. So if crowds didn't laugh hard enough at a joke or they didn't understand something, we would be going crazy in between the audiences to tweak it so that we would have something better. So it took a while. How old was my dad here? My dad is 45 in season 1, which is kind of funny because Pat McKenna is 45 in season 15. So it's like he kind of eventually catches up to him, which is pretty cool. Okay, enough of me. Let's get back to the episode here. Thank you for
Polar
your
bears,
questions.
penguins, quite a place.
Wow, sounds great. Woo! Okay, dear Red, living up here in the Yukon is great. The only problem is the people from the south who stereotype us northerners. They think of the Yukon as the land of the midnight sun, with everyone on dog sleds, living in igloos and hunting seals for 6 months of daylight. Tourists ask us where the gold rush is and where they can find polar bears and penguins. What kind of idiot doesn't know that penguins are only in the South Pole?
I think the main problem there is with the foreigners. You know, they go up north and they're expecting to see snowmobiles and Mounties, you know. And when's the last time you saw a Mountie, Harold? I don't think I've ever seen a Mountie, you know. I don't think Mounties even exist. How about this viewer? When's the last time you saw a Mountie, Mr. Does he give his name there?
Yeah, it does. It's Corporal H. Benson of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police White Horse Detachment.
Okay, sorry, Corporal Benson. No offense, sir. You guys are doing a great job, and it's a great Canadian tradition that you're carrying on there. You fellas up. Now, I'll tell you one thing, Corporal H. Benson. If we have to have one stereotype, then let it be the Canadian Mountie in his bright red uniform. I salute you, sir.
The H stands for Helen.
We have another winter activity we're featuring on our Adventures with Bill segment this week. This, of course, is, as you can tell, a snowshoe. Now, the first thing you need to do is to measure the snowshoes. They're supposed to be... Yeah, that hurt. I remember that, yeah. It's supposed to have something to do with your height. Anyway, Bill is an absolute expert on snowshoeing. I think he's been snowshoeing ever since he was smaller. And so I was just guessing how to put them on. I didn't realize there was a better technique. And then again, like Bill's been doing it for quite a while, and I probably should have paid more attention to him. Mind you, he did get my attention there. But I think what happened there, Bill just got fed up with me not doing it the right way, and just decided he just would do it the way I did. Yeah. Well, you know, he's good that way. You know, he's not pushy. You know. Golly, those are kind of crossed over each other, right? Well, as I say, he knows what he... You know, sometimes people are better teachers than they are at actually doing the activity, and I think Bill kind of falls into that category when you're talking about snowshoeing. Unless this is a technique that's designed for some specific environment. No, I think that's just plain wrong.
Just speaking of talented Canadian comedians, Rick Green in these Adventures films, I mean, come on. The guy is a physical comic, 10 out of 10, in my opinion. Just the stuff he could do. He looked like he wasn't really the most athletic guy, but the stuff he could do and the stuff that he could pull off, his timing, fantastic. What a gem.
One of the most difficult things with snowshoeing is turning around, because they're a lot bigger than yours. So, I was guessing here, but Bill has a really interesting technique, and it's, if you have a lot of time on your hands, I think this is the right technique to use. Certainly interesting to watch. And it does scare all the wildlife away. There is that aspect. But now Bill's going to show you several techniques of turning around. This one I thought was particularly, I guess, creative, for lack of a better word. And there he goes. Yeah, that worked real well. Now here's one too that, again, a little different technique. But, if you're creative and if you have a 6-foot staff, there you go. And he's right around, and away we go. As I say, for me, I would just turn on the snowshoes. But he loved this one. He wanted to try this a few times. Oh, boy. Now, here's something real interesting. You can make your own snowshoes out of a set of tires. Oh, this was kind of... we always kid Bill, he's kind of a pull start. Well, anyway, you put your foot in the tire. It doesn't even have to be snow tires, and then you use rope to make the webbing for it. So we got Bill's one leg in there, and then we got kind of kibitzing around. Well, I did. Yeah, all right, I did. Yeah, he reached for the other tire, and he kind of fell down. And what I did was I thought I'd have some fun with him, so I got the tires up, and I thought I would just push him down the hill. Bill loves this. He really enjoyed this. When he spoke to me from the hospital, he said, Red, that was really different. And then he lost consciousness again.
I think the best way to talk to the teenagers of today is to just be honest with them. And believe me, I don't like doing that any more than you do. I want to talk about guns. Now, I know this is a hunting lodge, and you see lots of guns and animals.
Just want to pause it there real quick. I'll start that again from the beginning in just a second. Just, some people ask, what's it like to have Steve Smith as a dad? Just pay close attention to these talks to the teens, and you'll get a sense of what high school was like for me.
I think the best way to talk to the teenagers of today is to just be honest with them. And believe me, I don't like doing that any more than you do. I want to talk about guns. Now, I know this is a hunting lodge, and you see lots of guns and animal skins around. But the truth is that all of that stuff was here when we took over the lodge 25 years ago. To my knowledge, none of our members has ever killed an animal with anything other than a steel-belted radial. Oh, yeah, we go hunting, but we don't take any ammo. And we sure as heck don't kill anything. And it's not just because nobody wants to clean a bear. The truth is we talk a lot about guns, but we don't really use them. See, that's the way men are. A lot of talk, not much action. Just ask our wives. Now, the truth hurts, but this is important. Or at least I thought it was a minute ago. Well, we won't air this one. It is winter. The snow is on the rooftops. The snow is on the tree. The wind blew down my cable. Now there's snow on my TV. Remember, women don't find it handy. Find it handy. We get the odd comment that people are getting tired of hearing me talk, so we want to do something that would reverse that process.
Okay, big questions, right? Okay, we get so caught up in day-to-day events like, eating and sleeping and roller derby and stuff that we forget about the big questions, right? Like big questions like, why? That reminds me of another big question. Who? Big questions, right? Well, like not physically big questions, right? Like, hey, I'm not physically big, but I'm big philosophically. Yeah, and my large intestine is over 10 feet long. So you figure out why it takes so long to go to the bathroom. Okay, these are big questions. And big questions need big...
I saw a question there. Jake Straw Walker says, Red Green Junior TV, were these wander around the campground shots done at the same time? Yes, they were. All the, the Hap Shaughnessy's in the boat, the Ranger Gourd in the treehouse, all the stuff that looks the same, that was done more than likely the same day, especially season 1 when the budget was so low. That's just how they kind of had to do it. Now, you couldn't do all the adventure films in a day. You couldn't do all the Handyman Corners in a day. But the kind of shorter segments like that, segments that were a minute and a half, something like that, that's all done in a day, which is why the settings look the same, and it seems to be the same weather for that clip in every episode. So yes, absolutely. Are those glasses real or just prop? Those are prop glasses, to my recollection, and those are not prop teeth. Somebody asked earlier, those are Pat's real teeth. He just had a way of getting them to stick a little bit farther forward than some other people. Marcus says, whatever happened to these Herald segments? Did they just not get on well with viewers because we never really saw them after this season? That's a good question. Again, in this early seasons, I'm 10, 11, 12 years old. I wasn't really in on, sort of creative decisions like that. So I could ask my dad, but my guess is, my dad really saw the show as his baby. And you'll see over the years, segments come and go, characters come and go. There's quite a few characters on this first season that you don't see again. There's even more characters on the second season that you don't see again. So chances are, if something got dropped, it's because my dad just didn't think it was working. So, or that he thought something else was working better, and so it got replaced. And that's just kind of how the show went. And you'll see, I mean, even in the mail call segment that you saw earlier tonight, where they read a piece of mail and then Red interacts with Harold on it. That's a good segment, but it got replaced eventually by a better segment, which was the experts, which is basically the same thing, just with a second person, right? Where Harold reads a letter that's asking a question, and now we have two perspectives giving an answer to it. And so you see that over the seasons, things get dropped, things get changed, and hopefully by the last few seasons, it's kind of fine-tuned into exactly how we thought it should be. Okay, let's get back to the episode. I'll shut up again.
Need big answers, right? I got them. I got the big answer. Aliens. Not aliens. We're not alone. No way. But, I'd really prefer to talk about this later because I don't want to miss Star Trek. Okay. Thank you.
Stay tuned to find out how the treasure hunt turned out.
Big hint. We're still doing the show.
Imagine if Superman ever got into a fight with anybody, huh? He's quite a guy.
He could take anybody, almost.
Not all.
All right, just a second. So someone says, has anyone from the production team ever tried to account for how many rolls of duct tape were used? I'm pretty sure that over the years, various people counted just to be fun, and the number was very, very high. I do know that at some point along the way, I forget the specific season, it might have been season 5 or something like that, we got sponsored by 3M. So a duct tape company sponsored the show, and we started getting our duct tape for free. And the amount of duct tape on set started to increase and increase and increase because of that. And the duct tape in my house started to increase. I don't know how that happened. Also, this segment, two things. One, we're going to get Red and Harold's take on Batman versus Superman. Who knew how ahead of their time they in fact were? And the second thing is, I know I've mentioned this before, but anyone who's new on stream tonight, something around our family when we were of this age, and the show was kind of starting out especially, but even as it kind of kept going, we found, my brother and I, Max is my brother, I'm Dave, that stuff from our house would get taken, would just disappear, and all of a sudden we would see it on the show. It would get commandeered. Low budget show, they can't afford stuff, so my dad would just take stuff from our house. These bait pails that these guys are holding, lure boxes, whatever they're called, those were my brother and I's Christmas present the year before. My dad took them. That's why they're matching. And they ended up on the show. So there you go.
Women don't find you handsome. You should at least find you handy.
Crookery says, imagine the things that he could create with Gorilla Tape. That stuff sticks to bark. Pretty powerful stuff, Gorilla Tape. But I like the duct tape. Marcus says, okay, I don't know if you've seen these Great White North on SCTV. These little segments remind me of Bob and Doug. A little bit, right? Kind of their back and forth. I love those Great White North segments. Strange Brew, one of my favorite movies still all time. Walt Disney says, with all the TV reboots gone today, has your dad ever considered a remake? I don't think so. I think the grind of a television show, thank you for the host, by the way, DGN Mist. I think the grind of a TV schedule is something that my dad does not want to get back into. He's going to be 73 in December. He's kind of slowed down. What he's kind of focused on now as a creative outlet for himself are writing books under the Red Green character and writing and doing live tours as kind of a one-man show. He likes that. He can control that. It's, he can do it for 3 months in a year and then not do anything for a while. That's, I think, what he is going to be doing into the future. I think he likes that rhythm. He still likes, he gets ideas all the time. I just talked to him this morning. He's like, I got ideas. I'm gonna start writing. He's a very creative person, and you can't just stop that. But he's found that's the best way now, rhythm for his life moving forward. So I don't think there will be a reboot in the near future. He didn't buy you gifts. He bought you props, Spiritus. Exactly. That's right. I got duct tape rolls for 13 straight years for my birthday. Okay, here we go.
Not almost.
No, almost.
Anybody.
Batman. Batman could take Superman in an instant.
Oh, get out of my face.
I don't even have to because it's true.
Batman is like Phil Donahue with an attitude.
Don't say that. That's not even true. Batman is way better than
He has
Superman.
no superpower.
Yes, he does.
No,
He's
he
got
don't.
psychological prowess over Superman.
Well, how does that compare with X-ray vision?
Easy because he can just think about stuff. And while Superman's looking around through walls, you can sneak up on him with brain attack.
Oh, yeah? How about being able to stop bullets, you know, faster than a speeding locomotive? Give me something like that, right? Able to jump tall buildings with a single bound.
He's a bat. He can hang upside down. All the blood would rush to Superman's head, and he'd get foggy, and his X-ray vision would get all screwed up.
Superman wouldn't hang upside down. He just would float beside him and sting like a bee.
He doesn't have hover abilities.
He doesn't need hover abilities.
Yeah, but he can't float beside him then, see? And when he's going so
He has
fast.
hover. He has hover. He has a
doesn't-
hover setting.
Oh, he doesn't have hover
You've
setting.
never seen his transmission the way I have.
You're thinking of Mr. America. He has hover abilities.
Helicopter man.
That's the guy.
Yeah. Now we're out here on location with my good buddy Dougie Franklin. And Dougie, this is a nice set of wheels you got here.
Well, Red, it ought to be. Cost me about $18,000.
Well, still, that's really not that bad for a truck this big. You know?
I just wanted to pause again for a quick second. Got some questions coming in. Let me just scroll up here a second because someone was asking about, yes, Rabid Kiwi said, you know, I always wondered, I live in Iowa, and IPTV always claimed our state won contests for donation drives aside from once. This led to Red visiting our state. Is this true, or was this replicated in other states? Yeah, we... when the show started on PBS, my dad would travel around to PBS stations and do local fundraising pledge drives where they say, please give money. And my dad would go in and do a pledge, and they would do well. He was actually quite good at doing that. He would say things like, if you like the show, donate money and we'll keep it on. If you don't like the show, donate more money and they'll be able to afford something better. So it was that kind of self-deprecating humor that my dad was known for, that he killed it on those things. He was very popular on those tours. And so eventually the show got on so many stations, we started doing one live PBS special where we would broadcast it on all the PBS stations, and it would be a contest for stations to try to meet their fundraising goal for that hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, whatever it was. So Iowa has long been known as the biggest supporter in the States, much to the chagrin of our fans in Salt Lake City, who were seemed to be always the bridesmaid. They were also super awesome Rabid fans, but Iowa just killed it. And so my dad ended up, what he would do is they would do these live pledge drives, and then the top X number of stations would get a visit from Red Green. And one of my earliest memories of meeting Red Green fans was in kind of a crazy cool way, was when my dad got to go to Alaska. I think it was Fairbanks, Alaska, and as one of these go to the PBS station, and they won a trip from Red. And my brother and I, we were late middle school, early high school. We went up there with my dad, and as we pulled in our car to like where they were going to have lunch for us, and people who supported the show on PBS, they were going to have lunch with Red. They had a 21 chainsaw salute, and these guys were up on the road lifting all their chainsaws and revving them up. It was fantastic. I'll never forget it. And we also got to drive a dog sled, which was pretty cool. All right, let's keep going.
No, that was for the wheels, Red. The truck costs a lot more. I mean, it's a lot of truck there, and it's a big one, and that's why you got to pay more, and that kind of makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah. How tall is this vehicle?
Well, I'll tell you, I couldn't really give you the exact height of her, but I was out there on your baseline road,
Oh, yeah.
going under that underpass there, and doing about 80 miles an hour.
Well, so she's obviously not any taller than the bridge on the baseline road.
Not anymore. I lost a whole rack of light spotlights I had up the top, and my good whirly light for accidents. I lost that sucker as well. But she is big, and she has to be big for competition.
Yeah.
And
You take this down to Carterville, don't you?
we done real well in Carterville last year. We took the most cars jumped by a truck,
Oh, yeah.
by a monster truck. We took most cars crushed by a monster truck. We also won the the most severe whiplash to the driver award. We also got this one I was proud of, with the highest flame shooting out of an exhaust stack.
Really?
That made something to me. And the big trophy, we took the big trophy of the day, of course, which was the largest automotive fire at an indoor venue. And I tell you, to take that trophy and walk away from it, very few people do that. We're quite proud.
Well, I think the important thing here is there's an awful lot more to this sport than people realize.
Well, that's true, and Red, we're hoping to compete at the Commonwealth Monster Truck Games.
You're going to the Commonwealth Games with us?
Well, we're hoping to represent Canada there, and of course there'll be monster trucks from Australia, Nigeria. They got the big monster trucks coming from the Bahamas, Pakistan. We're real pleased. I'm hoping we're going to do well.
Yeah.
They say that this year at the Commonwealth Truck Pull and Monster Truck Games, they're hoping to have Nelson Mandela there as kind of your grand marshal of the whole match.
John, Dougie,
Yeah,
John,
it's a big
John,
business.
hey, well, good luck to you,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'll let you get back to, whatever the heck it is you do here. And listen, hey, maybe down the Commonwealth Games, we'll see you up on the podium singing the national anthem.
Well, I'll tell you, I guess I better learn the words. If not, I'll maybe get my horn to play it. Okay, Red.
Okay, Doug. All right, Harold, get us out of here.
E-I-E-I-O.
Oh, it's our home and native land, Doug.
Oh, sorry, I was just, I'll get that down. Don't you worry about it.
All right.
I will get it done.
All right.
Watch out for the wheel there. I
Yeah.
just dusted her off.
All right. So anyway, the bunch of us had, kind of decided where the buried treasure was, and we started digging, and we dug, 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 and then we dug, and nothing, and then we all kind of split up and just started just digging anywhere, and doing a lot more digging, and still nothing. And unfortunately, what happens with men sometimes is the frustration, starts to set in, and pretty soon we're just going around and whacking trees with our shovels, and throwing big clumps of dirt at each other and trying to drive over people's feet with the backhoe. And then, of course, the owner of the golf course called the cops. Anyway, we're no richer, but we're a little wiser. Like, for instance, we know now not to dig for buried treasure at a golf course when it's open. So, anyway, if my wife is watching, I'm going to be a bit late tonight because a bunch of us are going down to the library. And if you notice the shovel's missing, don't worry, I've got it. All right, anyway, thank you so much for watching. And on behalf of myself and
Harold's your nephew?
Harold, my nephew. Or close enough. And the rest of the gang up here at the lodge, you keep your stick on the ice. Remember, women don't mind you handsome.
Let me get the mic going. Thus concludes our episode for tonight. Thank you all for hanging out and for your great questions. Bundy Chick says, do you remember the quiz that Harold did about cars? There was the Franklin brothers and Red playing. Yes, I do. That is a fantastic episode of the show with both of those brothers on there. A lot of laughs in studio for that one for sure. Creative Mode PS4 says, do you think your dad would a documentary on the show for like Netflix in the future? Just an idea. My dad has done some documentary stuff in the past. He did one called The Red Green Story. He's done various things in the past. I don't know if
Remember,
that's going to happen again
handsome.
or not.
You should at least find it handy.
Yeah, there is a lot of stuttering and buffering in the stream tonight. I apologize. I don't know what's going on. My internet is not enjoying this tonight, but I am. Okay, so our episode is done. Thank you all for hanging out. We do have one last thing to do before we call it a night, though, and that is do our giveaway. Now, I mentioned, if you saw the tweet or the Facebook post, and I think I showed this earlier, I found this at my house over the weekend while I was doing some spring cleaning. It's a sign of the man's prayer. The bad news is I didn't find any more. and I don't want to give away the only one that I have. So I can't give that away. I apologize. The good news is I found a few of these. This is some of the castmates in an autographed picture. There's a canoe there for 15, commemorating the 15th season. We got Jeff Lumby as Winston Rothschild, Pat McKenna as Harold, Bob Bainbrough as Dalton, and of course the late great Wayne Robson as Mike Hammer. Also autographed by my dad over here in the corner. It says, "Thanks for 15 great years," signed by Red Green. And we are going to send that autograph picture to one of you tonight as our evening's giveaway. Okay. This is how it's going to work. Everyone has a chance to win. Okay? So don't feel like, everyone who wants to enter can. This is how this works. The lag just got worse now? Oh, fantastic. Okay. Well, that's great. Hopefully you can still hear me at least. So, as you can see, I put up on screen the, just to make sure everything's on the up and up. No one thinks this is rigged.
Women don't find you handsome. They should at least
We have subscribers. If you're a subscriber in chat, you are 4 times more likely to win. I'm going to bump that. That's a little bump for our subs and channel, but everyone has a chance. How this works is I'm going to need people in chat to enter the keyword in chat. So if you're interested in winning this autographed picture, you're going to enter the keyword. The keyword tonight is going to be the thing that I alluded to at the start of the episode, which is, did anyone notice at the opening that there was something different in the opening shots than what we actually saw later in the episode? Did anyone pick up on it? It wasn't the fire tower. It wasn't the cast. There was one other shot in the opening that showed something. Did anyone pick up on then later in the episode it showed a similar thing, but it wasn't the same, therefore tipping us off that this was not a season 1 opening? Anybody pick up on it? I'll give you a hint. It was a vehicle. Anybody? All right. The keyword is going to be truck. The answer is the monster truck. The monster truck is different in the opening. Oh, Jalen, yeah. Suspenders were also different. But yes, I was looking for the monster truck. So everyone, if you are interested in winning tonight's giveaway, I'd like you to type truck into channel. And I hope this actually works.
Women don't find you handsome. They should at least find you handy.
Okay, you are typing in truck the way I asked you to, which is fantastic. I don't see any users popping up on the left side, which makes that a little bit interesting. That's right, Dougie's truck, Eagle. The opening scene, it was a big red truck, and then later on, it was a small dark truck. The monster truck changed. That's what it was. All right, I don't know why this isn't working. Your name should all be appearing over here, and they're not. And that's worrying me a little bit. Okay, I'm going to try clicking roll. I'm going to try clicking roll it. No, that didn't work. Okay. Instead, we're going to go active user. Everyone who just typed truck is an active user. So I'm going to roll that. Still, subscriber luck is high. It's still going to work, I think. All right. Is everybody ready? I'll give you a couple more seconds. People who haven't typed anything yet, go ahead and type something. Okay, that didn't work either. Nightbot. You son of a nut. We're going to refresh it. Okay, let's try it again. Sorry, everybody. Type in truck. Do it one more time. I swear it's going to work. It's working now. Truck again. My bad. We got it. I have applied duct tape. And go. Truck. You got this. We got it. We're getting people. I see people. You're in there. The users are filling up. There you go. The trucks are coming in. Okay. This is going to be so worth it for most of you who don't win. So worth it. Make sure you type truck. Truck just like that. That's what you need to put. Capitals won't matter. More truck, that's right. More cowbell. Cowbells, trucks. Okay.
Remember, women don't find you handsome.
I gotta wait 30 more seconds. We're good. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh yes, it's working. I see all you lovely users in there now. We're almost at 50. Okay. 10 seconds. Keep typing truck if you haven't typed it yet. You don't have to do it twice. If you did it once, that should work. 52 of you in here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to roll it. Fractal Farmer. You have won the giveaway. That was the most intense giveaway of all time. We didn't know what we're doing, but eventually it works. That's fantastic. Fractal Farmer, are you in chat? If you're in chat, Fractal, just type something so I can see you're here. And please stick around in chat so I can get your information where I can mail this lovely autographed picture. So please stick around after the stream ends, and we'll get that for you. Yeah, the lag is serious tonight. I apologize for that, everybody. Thank you. All right. All right. The next stream will be tomorrow afternoon on Thursday. The next live stream will be Wednesday of next week. I'm getting some serious internet issues, so I better call this before my computer explodes. Thank you all for hanging out. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Nice to see you. Thank you for the great questions and comments and all that good stuff. Sorry for the wackiness at the end here, but we will catch you next time. As I said, tomorrow, 5 p.m., we'll be doing Season 4, first 12 episodes. Next week, Tuesday, Thursday as well, episode blocks, and Wednesday night will be our live stream at 9 o'clock. Nice to see you all. Thank you for being here. And until next time, keep your stick on the ice.